Hello, everybody. Okay, so this episode is going to be about, as a family photographer, whether or not you should be running paid ads. And I know that I did not have a podcast episode last week, but that's only because I decided to announce after listening to the poll on the broadcast channel. I basically said, like a mini training, a mini marketing training, what would be most helpful. And I had podcast ads, a Pinterest mini course, or a website mini course, and the Facebook ads was the clear winner. So because I have no chill and I like to get ideas going, I just decided to create the sales page and the basic outline for that course, and I released it last week. And there's already quite a few of you signed up, which is awesome. Anyone who is in marketing mentoring gets the Facebook course included. So I'm going to talk about whether or not I think different scenarios of Facebook photographer situations should be running ads or not, or kind of the most powerful way to do it. So the people who should not be running ads would be people who do not have a consistent portfolio yet. And a consistent portfolio does not equate market confusion. So a lot of my marketing mentoring students, their main issue when we start to dive in is focus. Like, where am I focusing? What am I talking about? The main barriers to marketing are overwhelm, first of all. So what am I even talking about when you say market? What does that mean? What do my marketing materials look like? Where am I speaking? What am I saying? And then what is my ultimate goal? So all of those questions are overwhelm, right? And then, of course, the second one, you can probably all guess if you've listened to this podcast for a while, it's going to be the fear of being seen, the fear of showing up, the fear of being perceived. So those two things can silence the best of us, no matter how beautiful your work is. And I've seen so many photographers posting about how they have no bookings and their year is a lot different, even compared with last year, and I understand those feelings completely. So a lot of times, historically, family photographers will release some sort of marketing. Generally, they are not hitting the psychologically backed check mark on that data. 7 to 10 times someone needs to see something before they actually see it. They're showing up just a handful of times, not getting the bookings, and then running a last minute ad. That is what I would say would be the most common ads behavior that I see. There's not a very common scenario that I run into of someone who has long-term strategy tied into a paid ad strategy. So when I was writing the course, the way the course is formatted is 2 live classes that are recorded. One's on March 3rd and one's on March 10th. The first class is just going to be about strategy. So when I say a scenario that doesn't work, when I say that someone who doesn't have consistency yet, that means that a very inconsistent brand is impossible to build trust with, right? Because we have to go back to our very, very baseline assumption of any potential client, which is that whatever they fell in love with that they saw, whether it was a friend's photo that they saw, something on an ad, a blog post, a Pinterest post, an Instagram post, something on Facebook, anything that you're depositing out into the world, if they came across it, what is their number one goal? If they were to get in touch with you for a session, would be that they could have a session like the one that they fell in love with. And if you are unable to show them that you can do that, then the work needs to go back to finding out ways that you can create space and time and get enough people in front of your lens. Either get enough people in front of your lens or stop trend chasing your editing so that you do have a consistent place to send them where they can continue to build trust with your brand. Because what we're doing with ads is we are just opening up more visibility. That's all we're trying to do. And if we're sending those eyes somewhere that does not make sense and is not consistent, and we're breaking trust, then we're wasting money on paid ads. So that's why the first whole week of the course, I really struggled with how to put it together. Because what I didn't want to do is be like, okay, here's the technical aspects of how to run an ad. Good luck. And then everyone be like, okay, I'll just pick this random post and run an ad, and then I'll just look at the data. But it needs to be that the location of where we want those eyes to end up before they book has to make sense as well. So that's what the first whole week is about. So if you are someone who doesn't have a website or the ability to build a landing page or the ability to send someone somewhere where they can continue to build trust as you're turning people's faces towards your brand with that ad, we're not going to see the conversion to actual bookings on your calendar if we're sending them somewhere dumb. And that's not a personal attack. It's just, we have to send them somewhere that they can continue to build trust. So as I look over the landscape of all the photographers that I work with, the only people who shouldn't be running ads are people who literally have no place of trust building visibility. If you do not fall in that category, or the other person would be someone who honestly and sincerely has zero money to spend on it. If that's the case, then you need to choose an organic form of marketing and probably 10 times your effort. So one of the interesting conversations that's been coming up with me, and that's the reason that I love one-on-one so much, is because everybody's story is so different and I'm able to really dive in and help. And my background in psychology, not that I'm a counselor or anything, but the amount of time that we spend, and this is good, I like this time, talking about the fear and the overwhelm and the blocks to actually doing the thing. Like I posted my stories that I'd sent to one of my mentoring students, like, okay, those look great. Now post the blog post or I'm going to have to show up at your house. That's very much the energy that sometimes people need to actually get going. So in the course of teaching marketing, I've tried all kinds of things. Like passive courses work the least because the transformation is so hard to get because people will just get overwhelmed and click out of the course and there's no accountability. Group coaching was great, but everyone was coming from it at a different angle. So I felt like I couldn't be as one-on-one helpful as possible. So these stories, I just want to share some of them so that you all know that you are not alone. Like there are people out there who have the most gorgeous, consistent, perfect work you've ever seen, and they're still struggling. And so it's not about that. It's not about gaining some sort of level of perfection or having the trendiest dresses or trying these presets or whatever. It's not about that. It's about consistency and it's about strategy. And you can't have any of those things unless you also work on your mindset piece. So it's like a wheel of things that you have to have going on. So what paid ads can do is insert more visibility into your already turning forward system. And some people will say, and this has been another conversation that I've had, people are like, I'm totally burnt out on social media and I don't want to do social media anymore. And then I go on their account and it is so quiet. It is like they haven't done a post in a month and they show up on their stories every once in a while and post something that doesn't have anything to do with photography, and their blog posts are dating back to 2022. And that is it. That's like, but there's so much mental work going on in their head that makes it feel like they are turning their wheels. The other thing they're doing is looking on social media, comparing to other people and feeling like poo. So you are taking so much emotional bandwidth and tying it up with social media because you're operating as a like a consumer who hates herself, and that's taking up almost all of your bandwidth. And then the actual way you're showing up as a creator on social media is a very actual small percentage. And so it's almost like many of us have tricked ourselves into thinking that we're doing a lot more for marketing than we should. And one of the most impactful conversations that I've had is just this idea of like, if this were your full-time or part-time job, then you would have expectations on you for marketing. If someone were to say, I'm going to write out a job description for a family photographer, and I should actually do this in ChatGPT, I bet it would be really interesting to see. There would be a pretty large percentage of your time that would be needing to be spent on marketing, and very little of that time is spent there. So if you are someone who's super overwhelmed with social media, you can definitely rely on ads. But, and this is a big but, I think is a huge bum. The biggest bang for your buck, there's a lot of B's going on right now, is going to be a ad strategy with an active, helpful, inspiring social presence. Those two together as a little team are going to be much more productive than just relying on ads. Or if you just relying on organic, then you better be willing to put in a ton of time to actually, it is a difficult market right now. And again, anyone who is telling you that it's easy and all you have to do is go viral or post in your stories or try to trick the algorithm and you will make it, that is not how it is right now. That is somebody who is not actually trying to currently book clients, because it's not how it is. I'm getting a lot of last minute people that are just flinging themselves into my business as like I got to get this on the calendar. There's not a lot of plan, there's not a lot of prep. There's a lot of fear just in the overall, I feel like, consumer base of what is happening with our economy and what's going to happen. There's a lot of layoffs happening. I mean, there is a lot of noise happening. And so I think of you like there's a house and it's on fire and you're knocking on the door and you're like, excuse me, the spring blossoms, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I freaking love everyone who does this work, because what you are going to produce for that family once they stop running around at Mach 10 inside their burning house and open the door and meet you in the cherry blossoms and get those resulting images, that is going to mean so much more to their family. But just know you are speaking into a noisy environment. This isn't 2019 when you knock on the door and they'd be like, oh yeah, she posted in her stories, let's sign up for a session, hun, and meet you out. Like, we all know, anyone who was in the business at that time knew that's how it felt. So the way to think about ads is they are just like a little buddy that helps turn faces towards your business. And if your business has the right receptacle for those eyes, meaning you have a place to go where those ad eyes are going that makes sense, continues to build trust, continues to educate, continues to inspire, then you will see more productivity from that ad. And you will see more conversions from that ad, from someone looking to actually getting on your calendar. So the hard thing is, like, so much I wish I could just say, like, marketing is easy. I wish I could say that. And it's not easy. It is not easy. But if you want to do this work, it is worthwhile, because the people who decide consciously to step into marketing, they also become better photographers. And the skills that you learn successfully marketing your photography business in an environment like this, you are a freaking powerful ass person if you can do that. Like, that is something that if eventually down the line you decide to go to another job, or you decide you want to expand your skill set, or you're sick of entrepreneurship and you want to go get a real world job, the ability to turn your own business around through your hard and strategic work is beautiful work. Like, that is impactful and empowering for you as a business owner. It gives you clarity, it gives you confidence, it gives you the ability to stand firmly in the expertness of your own brand. It helps you understand so much about yourself and how you can show up and how you want to show up and how you can watch something grow. Marketing is watering this little baby plant of the seed of which you may have planted 10 years ago, and you're just finally running out of referrals and you realize you need more people, or you just started it last year and you really, really don't want to keep working for another person and you want to see what you can do. Like, it is an amazing skill to be a successful marketer, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And you can do it in a million different ways. I've talked about all of them. But I think the beauty of ads is that it can also really help you clarify what you are saying and who you're trying to say it to. It kind of like puts a magnifying glass on those two questions that are often not asked. more than likely how ads have been, let me boost this post on my phone for $100 as a last ditch effort to try to get 2 more people into my mini session so I can actually break even. Instead of, oh, this Facebook ad is just my little employee working for me all the time, even if I'm asleep. That's kind of how I like to think about it. Okay, so that is how it's going to work is if you want to sign up for it, it starts on Monday the 3rd at 9:30. If you can't come to the live, it'll be recorded. And then it's not just the 2 live classes. It's also going to have a course part, that like a normal course with a few modules in there. And then the live videos will be saved inside the course. So if you are in marketing mentoring, you'll just be included in, and you can have the course and the resulting lives if you can't make them to learn on your own. For many of my marketing students, we're already working on ads, but it'll just be a really good place for you to go refer to. If you've been considering signing up for marketing mentoring, now is a perfect time because you will get into the ads class as well. And then you can have even more one-on-one with me to work on all of the other stuff at the same time. So if you are like, I'm just going to spend the next 8 weeks getting all my marketing in check before my busy season starts, this is the absolute best time to do it. So I hope that helps you guys understand and clarify a little bit whether or not you should or shouldn't be doing ads. At least everyone who has a consistent portfolio should be running at least 1 low-cost ad at all times. And people who don't have a consistent portfolio or somewhere trust building to send people should just work on getting more people in front of their camera and learning to trust yourself more as an artist. So that is the answer to that question, and I hope you guys have a good week.